Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Ryan Holtz Show podcast. Today we have an amazing guest, Don Lemon, known for his anchoring at CNN, now host of the Don Lemon Show and Lemon Nation. Listen, the man is an icon in his space, interviewing, free thinker, never scared to share what he actually thinks. Don, welcome to the show and welcome home, my friend.
Hi, Ryan. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this. Good to see you.
Hey, listen,
Lemon Nation too.
I'm a lemon head, man. I'm on your Instagram and I am preaching the good word for you. I have to ask though, listen, I got to start this off with, what is your skincare regimen? Because you look incredible, man. Like you are, I'm thinking like 42 years old, roughly. Like, come on. Like, are you doing anything crazy in the morning?
38. No, it's not. People ask me that. And people always ask me, it's genetics. My forehead works. So I could probably use some Botox. And I don't know. This is just my skin. You know what I do? I do coconut oil as soon as I get out of the shower. I keep the pump in there, and then as soon as I'm done, when I'm still wet, I'll put the coconut oil on, and then I'll dry myself off. So maybe that's it. Maybe it is just moisturizing. This is tea. And I had my water. Oh, I left my water glass in the other room. So there you go. That's what I do.
I love that. Are you big on physical fitness and things like that too? Because you're in great shape, man. I mean, I think you're getting, as you grow a little older, I think you're getting better and better.
I'm in zaddy mode. I don't know. I just think I used to work out a lot. I used to work out a lot more. I used to run. Running was so hard on my body. And I find now that if I just walk and if I just do things in moderation, it's good. I eat whatever I want. I just had some bacon for breakfast, but I eat whatever I want, but I do it in moderation. I don't eat a ton of stuff. So if I feel like having a hamburger, I have it. Sometimes I can't even eat the whole thing. You have to just sort of train yourself.
I love that. Hey, listen, I'm based in Canada. I want to start off with, what is Donald Trump's obsession with Canada? And I thought Canada and US were always homies. What, like tariffs? What happened? Like, I love my Americans. I got so many American friends. They love the Canadian. Like, what happened, Don? What is your opinion on this?
Let me just apologize for my government and my country and the president on behalf of the American people. I don't know what's going on. I mean, we seem to be in an upside down world where we are demonizing our our allies and praising our adversaries for some reason. I don't know. We've always had a great relationship with the Canadian people. I love going to Canada. Canadians are so nice. It's been interesting to me to learn about, through my work about politics in Canada. I came there to cover SARS back in the early 2000s. I covered the rise of legal marijuana there, which stemmed from there and then came here, right? So in many ways, you guys are ahead of us. And also the similarity and the differences of race in Canada versus America. And so it's just been, I've always had a really great relationship, and I've been fascinated by the Canadian people. I don't know what's going on. It's not us. As your leaders have said, they know it's not the American people. It's Donald Trump.
Well, we were just in LA a few weeks ago. Well, not even maybe about a week ago, 8 days ago. And it's like the reception was amazing. And we had a little chuckle in the hotel lobby. And I was talking to this guy from Idaho. And he's like, hey, aren't we supposed to not like each other? I'm like, what? I'm like, we're homies, man. And we started fist pumping. And, I think the consensus in the States was always just like, I don't know why our government is doing this, but we love you guys. Why
would we not like Canadian people? We love Canadian people. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Well, and that's what I think too, right? I mean, it just seems that this is something that's came out of left field, so to speak. Life after CNN, going into independent journalism now with the Don Lemon Show. I watched your interview with Joyanne Reid, and you kind of gave her some tips towards the end of, hey, you need to be fearless in this pursuit of independent journalism. But also don't let perfection hinder your great mind. Can you kind of speak to that a little bit of your transition into independent journalist?
Well, I think we're so used to being in broadcast, whether it's broadcast. Hold on one second. I spilled my tea here.
I want you to spill as much tea as possible. Don, you need to spill the tea, my man.
I know. And I hope you lead this part in there, because that's the thing. Like, if if I was doing a network show, they would be, excuse me, they'd be like, okay, then start over. We're going to take that part out. I think we're so used to being in network or cable television that everything is perfect. The glossy studio, the pancake makeup, the hair, the suit, everything. And we're so used to people taking care of us, putting our microphones on. Oh, let's see, let me check, let me get your lighting straight and all those things, which is great. And, you know, I don't begrudge people for having them, but it's not needed. I think in many ways that's what that adds a bigger separation, a bigger gap between you and the viewer. And so people like the imperfection. Humans are flawed. I believe perfection. I've always said perfection is boring, and I had to remind myself of that. And so, you know, in a minute or so, my dog could bark. I know it's almost time for them to go out for their walk, and they'll probably be in here going, let's go out. And people actually like that. I started off, I don't know if you saw, there was a New York Times article that was written about me. Joy was in it, and Jim Acosta. And it talked about exactly what we're talking about now, where, you know, my old boss says, you don't have to be standing on the north lawn of the White House in pancake makeup. You don't have to be in a glossy studio, as I said, with whatever. People just want to hear from people they relate to, they like, and they trust. And so that was my, having experienced this for a year. My year anniversary was at the end of March. I felt that I could, you know, I had enough experience doing this that I could offer Joy some experience, especially after making many mistakes, like spending a lot of money, way too much money, on a studio that was sort of cable light, beautifully shot, beautifully done. The lighting was great, whatever. And people are like, we don't want that. We want you at home in your living room or in your, this is my home, you know, studio right here. So there you go.
What has been, I mean, you go through your comments and you look at all the lemon heads and Lemon Nation, and everybody's like, you know, I really love CNN, Don, but I'm obsessed with post CNN, Don. Like now you got savage moments. You're dropping the fuck bomb. You're just telling it exactly how it is. Like even I watch it. I'm like, damn, like this brother's really going there. And it's so liberating because I feel like opinions are extremely important. I don't think we always have to agree. I think that's the beauty of having separate opinions. And so you kind of create this space that allows people to have conflicting opinions and kind of, I guess, double down on it. So would you agree that post CNN Don is a little different, or is this just Don, another, you know, version 4.0 of what Don Lemon's always been?
I think it's a combination of both. Look, I was so trained for many, many years of just sort of, self-editing, right? And modulating and, okay, can't say that, you got to say that. And it's like, now it's like, you know what, I can say whatever the, you know, F I want. I won't say it on your thing, but I can say it. And it's not like,
yes, you can.
It's a bit uncomfortable for me because it's not, in many ways, it's not who I am, but yet it is who I am. And so sometimes you just have to say fuck, right? Because I'm an adult. And sometimes you have to say shit or ass or you have to call something bullshit, which, you know, many times you couldn't do it. And I think that we forget that the news is for adults. Politics is for adults, that we are adults and we should act like that and we should treat each other as such. So, you know, I don't make an effort just to drop F-bombs, but, you know, if I feel the need to say it, and many people do. If you look in the space, many people do. I think people were surprised because they're used to seeing me so, you know, buttoned up with a necktie on and not saying things like that. So, yeah, there you go. It's been an evolution, and I'm still trying to not self-edit and just be even freer than I am.
I love it. Now, when you're at CNN, like you kind of now are on an entrepreneurial journey because you have your own show. It's a media company. You know, you have a team around you. What has been kind of the process of doing that, cultivating it? Obviously, Nicki set this up. She seems phenomenal. How has, you know, getting a great team around you? How has kind of like, you know, you posted yesterday or the day before, you're literally showing your office. You got your light there. You got your big screen on. You got your laptop. Like, how has that whole journey of kind of having to set everything up yourself been for you?
Well, it's been great for me. I like it. I'm also like, I know, look, I'm not an expert at lighting, right? But I have been doing this long enough to know when the lighting is sufficient, if it's okay, if it's bad. And then I just sort of try things like this isn't perfect. It's not like, perfect studio lighting, but this is, basically this is me with this lighting. And I started out with, I started out with doing all iPhones, which iPhones are great. They fix everything. But sometimes the iPhones, it's too soft. So I have went and I got a webcam, and this is a webcam, and it does some really great things, but it also shows every pore. Um, it's when people say, "Oh, it's very clear." I'm like, "Yeah, it's too damn clear. Look at me. You can see, everything." And the only thing I worry about is like I have a little. This is weird. I'm telling you this. A little hyperpigmentation around here from shaving that a lot of men, especially men of color, do because of ingrown hairs. But that's
Yes.
about it. Everything else is. Sometimes I'll try to cover that, but everything else is natural. But I know good lighting. I like it. I keep it right. Like if I want a little bit more, I got this thing here that I can crank it up and blow everything out. Or, I can just bring it back down so that it's natural.
Don, real
And then I have
talk though.
one over here where I can bring it
This is
up, turn
great.
it on or off, and warm myself up if I want. Like so,
Yeah, yeah.
it's me.
Okay, okay. Men of color. Okay, I'm half white, half black. Listen, ingrown hairs on face has been a war against me for many years. I think I've got the perfect solution. I mean, I switched over to electric razor. That helped a lot. Do you use electric razor, or are you old school, putting the stuff on and using the razor?
I do both. Initially I started using a clipper, and then I would use. You're not old enough to remember there was this paste that would take your hair off. I forgot what it was called, or some magic shave.
Oh, okay.
And that would burn, and you couldn't shave every day. And then so I got a little laser hair removal. But still, this is just from shaving, and it's the dark hairs coming through because my hair is darker than my skin, and so it comes through. So some of it looks like I haven't shaved or hyperpigmentation, but not all of it is. But it's a real thing. And then for some reason, I learned how to shave, and once I learned how to shave, and then not go against the grain, and not like dig into my face, it kind of corrected itself. And I do have this little travel razor with the little round thing that I can use, but I find if I use it too much, I can get ingrown hairs. So I can't believe we're talking about that, but we are. Here we are.
I don't know, Don. Hey, I'm here for it. I mean, it's really interesting because just doing a lot of research on you, figuring out who is Don Lemon, and watching some of the interviews that you've been interviewed on. I watched the DJ Vlad interview that he did with you, which you went really, really deep there. And I kind of want to get into that too, is that Don Lemon is very much a human being. And you had kind of mentioned a little bit about the grief of the passing of your sister, and also how important your family is to you. Could you speak on grief? How have you dealt with that? How do you, I guess, kind of not compartmentalize, but everything that you got going on with your show and the topics and the naysayers, and how do you make sure your mental health, your soulful health, your physical health kind of keeps you grounded and stay in check with all that?
I try to sleep as much as possible, spend time with my dogs as much as possible, which hasn't been a lot lately. It's in the last year as much as I want. In the summer, my Zen spot is boating. So I'll go out and I'll boat, and I'll try to do that as often as possible in the summer. And then in the winter, I kind of hibernate. I don't read the comments.
Okay. Okay.
So my advice to everyone would be, every opinions, that old adage is true, or even if it's cliche, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Okay. Okay. What is the crusade? Like, what is the goal for Don Lemon? Like, you have a relentless, I call it a savage servant effect, where you're very much of service, but you're very grounded savagely in that service. What is that service that the Don Lemon Show is aiming to provide, and what is the goal? Because it's clear that you have a big vision, a very clear vision, and you're ruthless in getting to that, which I think is what everybody's really admiring right now.
So, well, thank you for that. I try to give people, not try, my goal is to give people information. My goal is not to insult them. My goal is not to extend false equivalence on this network, or to people who don't deserve it. My goal is, as I said, not to insult the intelligence of my viewers, and to build a community. And I believe that's really important, more important now than it has ever been, especially because of the downfall or slippage, or whatever you want to say, of legacy media. Look, I don't think they're going away. They still hold a very important place in society. But I think where we're going to now is a different way. It's a business model that is not working. And so I think this business model works. The longer I lean into it, the more I like it. And so I think it's really just sort of building our community and our tribe together with like-minded people and people who are not like-minded. We welcome them in as long as they're not insulting and they're not calling people names, then I'm good with it. So my goal is not to be all things to all people and to be Don Lemon and to be as authentic as possible because Don Lemon operates, I hate to talk about myself in the third person, but Don Lemon operates in a place of peace. It comes from a good place. And I try to inform people about my life, about other people's lives, and not get bogged down in negativity or trying to own people because, that's what the culture demands now in many ways, especially from the right.
Huge. I like that. Elon Musk conversation, which obviously, massive. Would you ever sit down with Elon again if you had the ability to collaborate and do another interview with him? Would you sit down with him and do an Elon Don Lemon part two?
I'll sit down with anyone. As you know from that interview, I'm not afraid to ask anyone any question. I'm not afraid to sit in front of anyone. I'll sit down with Donald Trump. I'll sit down with him. But I think people should know the role of journalists is not to have people like you. And I think the real bias is when people pull their punches and not ask questions that people want to hear. This morning, as a matter of fact, before we're taping this, I had Ro Khanna, a congressman, on, and people have asked me, and also people in the comments or in the chat, as I call it. By the way, that reminds me of something. I'll go back to it. They said, you own Ro Khanna stock in Tesla, you own technology stock, and yet, you are targeting Elon Musk, et cetera, with legislation, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't that make you a hypocrite? And then I asked him that question directly. Many people might be afraid to do that. And he answered. And I pressed him on it a little bit, and he answered. He said it was, I do, my wife's money, it's in a trust. And it is diversified. There are a bunch of different things in there, and you can't just go in and pull it out. And he's right. I know about that because I know people who are under similar circumstances. So I will ask anyone anything without fear, and journalism is supposed to be without fear or favor, and that is my mission. I've had some people say to me, why would you ask Elon Musk those tough questions? First of all, I didn't think that the questions were that tough. And I said, because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a journalist. And then they say, I would be all up in there, like under the hood in the Tesla and just like, oh yeah, Elon, I love it. And I was like, well, what does that say about, the state of journalism if someone is going to do that? So yeah, of course I'd sit down with him. I'd sit down with anyone. Yeah.
Well,
The thing that reminds me of when you said, what do you want to do? I also want to be interactive with my community and with my audience. I just don't want to sort of just be sitting here preaching just a one-way conversation, because that's what I did for decades in traditional media. And so now on my show, everything is happening in real time. I could see the audience. I can see the numbers. I can see who's here. The comments are up. And I actually read the comments, and on depending on, we have memberships, the people, the subscribers and the members get to be on the show just like you and I are here. And so if you're at our highest tier of membership, which we call the Lemon Legends, you get to be on the show just like any other correspondent on any other network, any other contributor or analyst. They get to come on the show. They get to state their opinions. They get to challenge me. And that's the beauty of being able to do it this way. So that is my my goal or my mission as well. But yes, and I will sit down with anyone. I would sit down with Elon.
Did you consult anybody to build out your platform the way you have with memberships and things like that? Or is that things that's kind of grew along the way? Because I've talked to, other legacy media anchors, things like that. Okay.
Well, I think a lot of this is sort of you learn as you go for a lot of us folks. And I think most of us come into this with a sort of regular traditional TV mindset that you must have this, and this. And I had a lot of, TV people consulting me in the beginning, and it was just overkill. I did not need all of the things. Basically, what I needed was a webcam or an iPhone and a computer, and that's it. And and some attitude and point of view. Yeah.
It just makes me so happy because I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 years old. I did some radio, TV stuff here locally, but as a kind of an expert And I thought I would present these ideas and concepts of shows to producers, walked in there very turned on, and then left very turned off. And by the time it was done, it was like it was ripped apart and just that's it. And it's interesting because looking at, black anchors like yourself, I said, oh my God, like this is great. I love seeing this on TV. And then I would always think, okay, we need more of that. And then slowly, the world started to change and you start seeing people like yourself now saying, look, legacy media, don't know where that's going, but I'm on the new media. I walked in the new media door and you did say to Joyanne, you said, look, I think I'm almost late to the party. So what kind of excitement, I guess, does that bring to you? And what kind of, I guess, opportunities do you think that creates for other people that are looking to get into that same lane, maybe?
Well, look, Ryan, I'm a person of faith, and I believe, that God will take care of you. And even if you're a non-believer, I believe the universe is here built and meant to be a support system for you. So, sometimes there's that old saying, a blessing in disguise. And I believe in many ways it has been that. Not that it has been easy, not that I am happy with the way my departure went. I thought it was really unfair and disrespectful in a way after having devoted so much time to a company. And so what does that say about, I look, this is an arc, right? And I've been able to do everything from starting as a trainee in the newsroom to becoming a production assistant, a desk assistant, an assignment editor, field producer, a satellite feeds coordinator, writer, on-air, a producer, an on-air person, an on-air reporter, to anchor, to having a show with my name on it in prime time, and then now to independent media, the same thing. So I feel very fortunate to have done this, and there's a reason that the universe or God or whatever it is pushed me in this direction, and I believe that I got pushed in this direction to be successful, and that's the only way that I can look at it. And whatever I have to do in order to become successful here, I'll have to adapt to it and do it.
Your days now more intensive than working at CNN? Are you working more? What's a typical day look like for you? How many hours are you throwing out? Because I see the content, I see the different shows, I see your live streams. I'm like, this guy is pushing hard.
I'm working, right? Hustling. You see that?
You're hustling. I see it. And then how much of that hustle do you think your team is? I mean, how much credit do you give to your team to be able to execute, and have that output that you do right now? Because the content, I mean, you're posting, I see your Instagram, I mean, sometimes 3, 4, or 5 posts a day are going out. Live streams are going out. Hell, I'll be commenting on one post and you already got another post coming down. It's incredible.
I'm kind of close to it. I can't see it. Is it a lot of output? I'll answer your question, but is it a lot of output? Because I'm too close to it. I'm just here doing it.
I think it is a lot of output. It's, again, maybe this is kind of funny because when you're so close to something, I think you realize the magic, but I think a lot of other people are realizing the magic. And I use that word intentionally and authentically because, even in the marketing and branding world, you got people telling you best practices and post this and post that. You're just trailblazing through all the BS and saying the message is clear. I'm putting out the message. Don't really care how it's coming. And what I love is that, some of your content obviously produced nice, high quality. And then others you can tell, maybe you just got off the toilet and you're like, I got a thought and I need to get this out now. And I love that because it just brings it in for you. Like it's just so real. So there has to be a level of intentionality behind it, I would think.
Okay, well, I don't know about that part, but sometimes I'm just sitting here like I'm sitting here now, and if I have a thought, I just put it out and I say, I may want to talk about, Cory Booker and what he did last night, or the record that he broke, or I may want to talk about, Liberation Day, which is, they're going to liberate you from your wallet, and I'll just put it out. It doesn't have to be. Again, remember. It is called social media. I don't know if you can call it social media anymore. It may be, I don't know. I don't want to call it a pod or tribe or whatever, but it's not. I think it's become more than social media. So, and with just the word social, it offers that sort of authentic nature, low gloss, and I think people sort of appreciate it that way. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that what you said about getting up off the whatever, but, Thank you for that, I guess.
I love it. I know your time is precious here. I got to get you going. One question, we weighed out a question to our audience, and a question continuously keeps coming back is, where does Don Lemon get the resilience, the tenacity,
Lemon,
and just
you sound like Tyler. What's his name? You
which
sound
one,
like
Tyler?
what's the guy's name from Fox News? Why can't I remember his name now? Tucker
Oh,
Carlson. When you
Lamont.
call me, when you call me
It's
Don Lemon.
my wife said to me too. She says, "You're really trying to make his name sound really, really fancy." And I'm like, I don't know why. It's just in my head, Lemon. Where did you get this resilience, though? The tenacity, the just not letting other people's opinions affect your mission, so to speak.
I think that comes from, well, first of all, it's in my blood. It's as James Baldwin writes in The Fire Next Time, you come from a sturdy peasant stock, and I'm probably going to get the quote wrong. People who damn and built, dug ditches or whatever, and built bridges in the teeth of the most terrifying odd, attained an unassailable dignity. And so that is where some of it comes from, but it also just comes from being raised right and having my parents, especially my mother, as an example of dignity. So I think that's where it comes from. And I'm tenacious, and I refuse to let someone else, other people, company, foes, detractors, or whatever. I refuse to let them define me. I define me. And I refuse to let people tell me what path I can take and how successful I can be on that path. There are many paths. There are a number of paths of which which we can take in life. And I think there are a number of and obviously on all of those, I think that you can become successful. So I really don't give a damn what people say about me at all. At all. So if you have something negative to say, if you think whatever, fuck you, I don't give a shit. So I don't, I've always had that attitude.
I just love that. That's great. Listen, Don Lemon Show would there be a network that would come along with this? Because I was kind of thinking, I'm like, I wonder if he'll have maybe other shows in his orbit, kind of like maybe a Black Effect network or something like that. Is that something that we could see on the horizon, having other shows a part of what you're currently doing? I'm
working on something like that, but let's see. I need to make sure that this is solid and successful first, because this is a learning experience. So I'm trying to just scale this and make it, and it's going really well now. And so before I branch off into other things, which I am working on, I'm actually piloting 2 podcasts, but we'll see. If I like it, we'll do it. If I don't, then we won't. But I have a couple of contributors here on the network that we are just testing out to see where it goes. And remember, I've only been doing this a year. Rome wasn't built in a day, cliche, but that's true. So let's see. The Don Lemon, the Lemon Media Network won't be built in a day or a year, but it'll be built over time.
Last question, Don. Is there anything I can do for you, my friend? Thank you for all you do for the world, the inspiration you give, the minds you provoke, and the free thinking that needs to happen in the world. But is there anything I can do for you, my friend?
Yeah, nothing except for, look, I love Canada. I love going. Get someone to invite me back to TIFF. I love going to TIFF. I used to go. It was fun. And, find some reason for me to come to Canada and hang out with you guys. Get me out of America for a little bit.
I got to reach out to Cameron Bailey. You must have met him at TIFF. Cameron Bailey, right?
But yeah, I haven't been there in years. It may have been a decade since I've been to TIFF, but I used to love going, and I would love to go into Canada. When I lived in Philadelphia, I would go to Canada a lot because it was a quick plane ride. I think it was U.S. Air. I don't know if U.S. Air is even still in business. And they would offer these cheap fares between, Montreal or Toronto and Philadelphia. And I would go. Sometimes I would just go for the weekend. It was great. And the folks are really nice. I love going there.
Don, our time is pressed today. I hope we can do this again. I want to do one with you in person if we can make that happen down the road. But I said I got to get you virtually to get the relationship and the ball rolling, so to speak. Could I just get you to say, my name is Don Lemon, and I was just on the Ryan Holtz Show?
Yes, Ryan, I tell you, before I do that, look, make sure, I want people to know to go to YouTube and sign up for and subscribe to the Don Lemon Show on YouTube. Like and subscribe, become a member if you can. And then also check out my new Substack. And it's really easy. All you have to do is go to donlemon.com. and put in your email, and then you can subscribe there. It's free, or you can get a membership as well. And that's where I lean into my writing, which I really love to do. I just wrote a piece that I and was copy editing just before this. So make sure you check that out. And of course, check out all the social media, because that's where it's at. That's where people are tuning in.
And your book, a great book.
Hello, everyone. And my book. I have 2 books. One of them is This is the Fire, My Search for God in America. And the other one is I Once Was Lost. One is called This is the Fire, What I Say to My Friends About Racism. And the other one is called I Once Was Lost, My Search for God in America. And they're both really, really great books. So now I'll say this. Hello, everyone. I'm Don Lemon, and I was just on the Ryan Holtz Show.
We're so glad you enjoyed this episode of the Ryan Holtz Show podcast. Please don't forget to smash that 5-star review, as Team Holtz will love you for it. Also, say hi to Ryan anywhere on social media using the handle @RyanHoltz1. That's RyanHoltz1. And if you or your business is looking to expand your brand, book a brand jam with Ryan using the link in the show notes.